What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this video, I can't believe we're doing this again, and I can't believe we're doing this again with a actual younger game. So, we talked about the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster that is not confirmed by PlayStation. I'm sure it will be, within the next week or so, but it was rated by the ESRB, right? Made a whole video, asked you guys in the comments to let me know what PlayStation games should get remastered over Horizon. Well, today, I got a rumor that I honestly think is worse. Now, it comes, you can see it behind me. I mean, it's really no surprise here. With Horizon, there's just been a few of them, a couple of games more than Days Gone, and, we've gotten DLCs to them. It just feels like more of like an ecosystem. So Days Gone in that way doesn't sound as bad, but Days Gone is actually much worse when you think of when it came out. So firstly, these rumors is from a couple people. I personally saw Jeff Grubb, but I know the idea that there are more PlayStation remasters out there is something that's being said. And also, there's ones that are even more uninspired, which I think was the exact quote, more than Horizon Zero Dawn. So those were kind of the two main things being said earlier today, that Horizon is not the only remaster that they're doing, and in fact, the other remaster, and I don't know if it's plural, actually Days Gone plus other games, maybe, but that there is at least one other remaster coming that's basically even worse. Now, they say uninspired, I would say worse, right? Less necessary, less needed. Now, when that happened, the first thing that I thought of was God of War 2018, because still comes from the same generation that we're talking about with Zero Dawn, and so does Days Gone, right? These are all PS4 era games, but it would be a year later, right? And it's okay, you also have to think about, well, what games are even candidates, right? What games could literally be uninspiring? Well, you can't do any PS5 games. So, you could go Ratchet and Clank if you wanted to get wild. You could do Returnal or Demon Souls or Miles. But, didn't Miles actually already get the remaster with Spider? I don't know. I actually kind of forgot these things. But you think of the PS4 era, and you think, okay, well, The Last of Us. Last was Part 2. That kind of already happened. Ghost of Tsushima, that got the director's cut, with Icky Island. Death Stranding got the director's cut. So when you try to think of 2020, 2019, 2018, there's really not a lot of candidates that are bad. And by bad, I don't really mean the quality of any of these games. It's the same thing I said with Zero Dawn. I like Days Gone. I actually played it. I never played it all the way through originally when it came out. I think I played it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I really like it. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it is a studio that made Uncharted Golden Abyss. They make an open world zombie game. They give it a pretty good, try and a pretty good shot, and it's pretty good. And, if they were allowed to make a sequel or, whatever the next game that they're making, I expect better. I expect them to take what they learned in Days Gone and do better. So I think it's a fine game. In fact, I think it's better than fine. I would say, kind of at worst, Days Gone is a good game, at least in my opinion. So that I think was given actually a pretty bad, a run through the gaming journalist cycle back in the day when it got 60s and 70s. I don't think it, deserved that score. And I think, that kind of hurt the narrative of it when it first came out. So it's, again, not a question of the quality. But why are we remastering a 2019 game? Now, you could say, okay, well, you said God of War, right? God of War was the first thing I thought of because, you think of these years and the games that have, that are left. God of War is a game that hasn't had anything done to it technically yet, and Days Gone as well. So then Jordan Midler, who I believe is from, Video Games Chronicle, he did this tweet, and to me, it sounds like a declaration. He's saying it as if he knows something, not as it is a joke, but it's not he made it up on the spot. And basically, he talked about how, John Garvin, who was one of the heads of Days Gone, he had quite the fit, and I don't understand it myself, when Deacon showed up in Astrobot. So obviously he's a bot in that game, and he went on a whole, long thing on Twitter about, why is he shilling for another game and all this weird stuff where Days Gone was celebrated in Astrobot. Every bot and every character and every game that was represented in Astrobot is a celebration of it, not anything else. So, looking at it in any other way, I really don't understand that. But anyway, you need to know that context, right? Because he freaked out about it. Don't understand why. But this tweet from Jordan that we're talking about, he said, wait until he sees this. And he was saying that in a direct quote tweet to the remaster. So what I think he's getting at is I think Days Gone is going to get a remaster, and then he's expecting, John Garvin to kind of flip out about it because he wasn't, part of it. So that's what I think the joke / the history of like the whole situation, and you kind of need to know that situation to know what he's talking about, right? Like who's he talking about, what he's talking about, Days Gone there. And so that's pretty much it. So like this is not as confirmed as Horizon. I want to make that clear, right? But again, like we heard rumors that there's more than just one remaster. You're probably not going to be happy when you find out about the other one, or the other ones, plural, and then you have that tweet directly referencing Days Gone. So, for me, at this point, it's either God of War or Days Gone, but let me be clear. It actually doesn't matter which of those two games that it is. I still have the exact same problem. And I'm not going to, I want to keep my blood pressure down. I don't want to say everything that I already said, in yesterday's video, but why? God of War is 6 years old. Days Gone is 5. I guess 6.5 and 5.5 technically, okay? Too early to do a remaster. And as we said with Horizon, I would say the same thing here. It's not even necessarily about the time. Again, these games are high-selling games. Days Gone sold well, especially like kind of long-term, and God of War sold obviously exceptionally well. It's not about that. It's really not about that. I get the sales, and I get, maybe you want to double dip and get these people to buy it. Same thing with Horizon that I saw people tell me, like, if you're talking like a $10, upgrade, which I don't think it'll be, by the way. I really don't think they'll do that. But if you're talking something like that, fine. I still think it's a waste of resources. I still think it's a waste of time, but it's not as aggravating. But if they come out with a God of War 2018 remaster or a Days Gone remaster, and it's $60, at least 60, maybe if it's even 70, but probably 60. That's insane to me. From a price perspective, from a year perspective, you wouldn't be doing the upgrade. I have these games physically, all of them, I believe, physically. So it's like, it would be a joke. It'd be an absolute joke. And again, to my main point that I said with Horizon, it's more about allocating resources. It's more about like figuring out that you should probably show some of your older games respect. I'm going to make a video on Podcast Now Plus later. There was the talk of Crafton with Hi-Fi Rush 2, and they came out outright this morning and said that they fully, they know Hi-Fi Rush isn't going to make them money. In fact, it'll probably lose them money. They're doing it kind of for the spirit of the game. They think that Tango makes some special, different games, and they want to be able to support that. I can't even believe they said that. I can't even believe, in the gaming industry we live in now, everybody's greedy, everybody's out for money, nobody even cares about the art in the executive level. So I'm very happy to hear about that. We'll talk about that on Podcast Now Plus. But I really think PlayStation should take notes. I get the risks. I get, you maybe lose a couple $1 million, tens of millions, but maybe make it up somewhere else, and that's only if it loses money, to be honest with you. But, you know what I mean? Why can't PlayStation have that? Why can't they have that mindset? Why can't you try Sly or Jack and Daxter or any of these PS3, PS2, whatever era games? Why not try those instead of God of War Remastered, a 6-year-old game that runs fine. It looks great. It plays. It's a great game. It's a Game of the Year contender. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but why do we need it remastered? When we have Bloodborne sitting there from 2015 that you've done nothing with, you're picking a 2018, or you're picking Days Gone from 2019, 5 years ago? Are you nuts? I guess they are. I guess they are nuts. So you let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel. Bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.